Good day, everybody. It is currently the 21st of September, 2014. We are continuing to track Tropical Storm Fung-Wong, locally known as Mario, there in the Philippines. But this storm system has now finally moved away from Luzon. And if you're out here in Taiwan, it's coming next. Already, actually, some areas have reported well over 500 millimeters of rainfall. You can see here very clearly on the latest radar imagery where that center of circulation is located just off the southern tip of Taiwan. You have all that moisture continuing to wrap around the storm system, so the southeastern portions of the island is where the heaviest precipitation really has been taking place. See here over the past 24 hours where all that rainfall has fallen, basically down here towards the south. Taipei, you've really missed out on the worst of this, but some areas, as I mentioned, you can take a look actually at the past 2 days total rainfall. You can see here at one location 517 millimeters of total rainfall came down in the past 2 days. Other areas upwards about 300 to 400 we're approaching there in Jingfen. But the main thing that we're seeing in southeastern Taiwan, we always see this with landfalling storm systems, just the precipitation coming on shore, and of course that is the main problem here. But the mountains that stretch across central Taiwan, these are very high, very jagged peaks. So when you get a storm pushing that moisture on shore, it hits these mountains here and it just squeezes all that moisture out like a sponge. And it's these areas right in here where we are currently seeing those totals upwards about 300 to 400 millimeters. Now, as our storm system continues to track here towards the north, expect that precipitation to start to wrapping around from the west. So don't be surprised if northwestern portions of Taiwan start to see the heavy rainfall as we look ahead through Sunday night into Monday, with that precipitation starting to churn in from the other direction. So these mountains here on this island, they really play a absolutely major role in how these storm systems react and how the flooding occurs across, well, the area of Taiwan. So that's really going to be the big problem as we look ahead for the next 24 hours. We continue to track this storm system push over the island and just along the western periphery of that mountain chain. So expect that moisture to come in from the west and also from the east. So Taipei, it's not like you're going to be missing out on this. We are going to be seeing some heavy rainfall off towards the north. Also some fairly gusty winds. Tropical storm strength winds along the coastal areas are still possible, so don't think this is going to be just another easygoing storm. It is still going to be pretty rough out there for those of you, but I think the precipitation is going to be the bigger problem. Now, as we mentioned yesterday, we have our subtropical ridge farther towards the east, and that could pull it towards the west. That seems like that's going to be the case. All agencies, all numerical guidance really coming in a line with our storm pushing on shore there into Fujian, just south of Shanghai. Staying well west of those of you into Naha, you're still going to be seeing those winds flow into the storm from the southeast, so it is going to be some rough waves out there, but you're not going to be seeing tropical storm strength winds. Could be seeing some scattered thunderstorms, though, as this continues to track off. I think this is going to be a big problem for Shanghai, though. You can see all that winds just wrapping into this. It's going to be a lot of rainfall out there into eastern China as our storm system continues to track overhead. This is the ECMWF total accumulation of the precipitation out here, and you can see where some of these areas just towards the south and east of Shanghai really do pile up, and you're looking at about 300 to 400 millimeters of rainfall. But the worst of it is really going to be out here along the southeastern portions of Taiwan. And eventually our storm system could still turn towards the northeast, and you see here in the longer range a lot of that precipitation scattering across parts of Japan. For those of you out here on Wednesday and Thursday, it's not going to be very pleasant. Actually, looking at some pretty rough weather for those of you in the Shanghai, well, basically on Tuesday, but over towards Korea on Wednesday, and then eventually over towards western Japan as we look ahead by Wednesday night into Thursday. Our low pressure areas still could push towards the northeast into the Sea of Japan and bring widespread scattered showers on Thursday, even to the Tokyo area. So despite the storm system really losing a lot of its tropical characteristics, later on this week, it's going to be a pretty nasty rainmaker for those of you out here. So this is something still to watch. Now, I do want to talk about everything else going on because we still have the precipitation across northern portions of the Philippines. It's tragic out here. Despite the storm system just clipping the northeastern portions of Luzon, we've had 5 reports of deaths. That's well, more than what we've seen with our last storm that rolled across the center of Luzon. 7 people are injured. This is what really saddens me. One, a 2-year-old, drowned in some floodwaters out here. It just absolutely terrible stuff. Main problems with this storm was the fact that it did make landfall off here in northern Luzon, and really the worst of the weather was over towards Manila. You had that moisture inflow wrapping in around this storm system. That happened. That was just that steady stream of rainfall that lasted throughout the day on Friday across the metro areas, and while most of the city did get flooded, some 400,000 people were impacted. 30,000 people were forced to evacuate. Just a very rough go out here for a lot of you, and we did see those casualties, and this is just one of those situations. Manila is very vulnerable to flooding. Before Westerners showed up, most of the buildings out there were built on stilts to try to avoid the risk of flooding. Then now a lot of buildings are just built right on the ground. So when we get these storm systems come through, to see that persistent heavy rainfall, all these tragic situations can happen. So that's definitely a problem we always have to look out for. Let's talk about the long-range forecast. I don't want to leave you without mentioning this. Still keeping an eye on the tropics. We still have Fung-Wong pushing across Taiwan, and it's going to be bringing some rainfall, also still the northern Luzon. But there's a low-pressure area, or not a low-pressure area at this time, but a tropical wave way back here towards the east. Numerical guidance is grabbing at this, and where exactly is it going to be going? Well, right now, there's still a lot of stuff up in the air, but I'll just go through and show you a few model runs, an idea of what we're looking at. So right now we have our initialization. It's out there near Micronesia. Now watch how low start to develop in the northern Mariana Islands and push off there towards the west. This is our NavGem model. This is about a week and a half out. GFS. Well, also pulling for something very, very similar here. If we can go ahead and scroll through this, you can start to see another storm system developing just towards the north of Guam, right in a line with both models. The ECMWF also right in a line here. So here's another look with the GFS model, and you can just see our storm system pulling off there towards the north. And if it gets hooked, that's a possibility. But right now, the consensus in the model run actually pulls it off there towards Okinawa before shifting towards the northeast. So hey, guys, this is still a long-range forecast. We're still got a lot of stuff to talk about here, and still a lot of time to watch it. So for now, though, we're going to continue to track Fung-Wong and also keep a very close eye on what's going on off there towards the east. Stay safe out there, everybody.